Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our May Headliners Luncheon. My name is Tara Poulton. I'm on Chamber staff, and I serve as the Vice President of Public Policy and Workforce Partnerships, and we are thrilled to have you all here. And we are so excited to have several leaders from our area colleges and universities to discuss higher education's role in addressing workforce needs for the next generation, and quite frankly, for this generation too. But first, if you could all silence your cell phones. And now that you all sat so nicely, I'm going to ask you to stand so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to recognize our headline sponsors, Florida Power and Light, the Mosaic Company, and the Realtor Association of Sarasota and Manatee. Thank you also to our platinum investors whose companies are now on the screen, and I will list them as Brown & Sons Funeral Homes and Crematory, Carr, Riggs & Ingram, IMG Academy, Manatee County Government, Manatee Memorial Hospital, MCR Health and All Care Options, the Mosaic Company, NDC Construction, Pittsburgh Pirates and the Bradenton Marauders Baseball, Raymond James Wealth Management, Bruce Body, Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, and South State Bank. If we can please give our sponsors a round of applause. So we are now going to let IMG serve our lunch, and we will be back to the podium in just a few minutes. As soon as everybody has food in front of them, we will get started. And coming up next will be Rick Bizio. Rick is our chairman of the board and owner of the Educated Franchisee. He will be back at the podium to begin our program and to formally introduce our speakers. So enjoy lunch.
My name is Rick Bizio. I'm the chair of the chamber, and welcome. Today, as a way of kind of setting the table for today's presentations, we all know that our region's talent pipeline is really important. Finding talent today is not that easy. And the regions that have the better talent pipelines are the ones that really are able to prosper. Our higher education institutions are really a critical component in the economic development initiatives and our quality of life. This afternoon, we're going to hear from a panel of college and university leaders about opportunities and challenges, strategies for overcoming barriers to our current and future workforce issues, and the importance of collaboration with local businesses and employers. Our region is truly fortunate that we have a large number of higher education institutions serving the needs of students, employers, and the community. Unfortunately, just based on sheer logistics, we can't have all of them here with us today. But that doesn't lessen the fact that they're truly very important to the education and workforce development. For example, Manatee Technical College, who's not here with us today, they meet a really critical need for our region in education training designed to meet the demands of our local businesses for skilled employees. As a matter of fact, in previous Headliners lunches, we focused on skilled trades and featured several MTC grads as our panelists in a previous one. So today joining us, we have Dr. Patricia Oker, who is the new college president. Welcome. We have Dr. Karen Holbrook, Regional Chancellor, University of South Florida, Manatee and Sarasota Manatee. Dr. Michelle Morgan, President and Associate Vice Chancellor of Kaiser University. And Dr. Todd Fitch, Executive Vice President and Provost of State College of Florida. All four panelists have remarkable resumes, background, leadership. Instead of me standing up here and reading it all to you, we did something smart. Actually, Tara did something really smart. We printed it all here for you, so you have all their faces, their backgrounds, all the information. Please take this home with you. It's really amazing, the background. Really what's most important today is that we give them a chance to speak. So we're going to give each of our panelists a few minutes to share with you some information about their institutions, priorities, and then after that we're going to open up to the audience We're going to have a speaker over there, and you can ask questions directly to the panelists. And Dr. Oker, we're going to begin with you.
Thank you so much. It's a delight to be here. If you've read the brochure, I am new to Manatee County, proud citizen and homeowner here in Manatee County. I've been here since July, so I so appreciate the spirit of collaboration with the business community. So thank you so much. In the spirit of collaboration, one thing I want to make clear is that I'm going to talk about as charged about what our role, how we see our role at New College for addressing workforce needs. But I also want to say we also share the same challenges that you do. So we both employ people, we have to recruit and retain talent just as you do. And so that many of the issues that you face in terms of, I was talking to some people, traffic, affordable housing, all these things are things that we talk about on my leadership team literally every day. So I share and I hope to be in partnership with you about solutions. But in terms of what we're doing to address workforce needs, I'm going to talk about 5 key things that New College is going to do. So I'm going to talk fast. But first and foremost, New College is really committed to radically altering the traditional model of a university and employer relationship. And what I mean by that is the traditional model, and I think it's breaking down in many other places, but this is something that I am definitely committed to. The traditional model is that students tend to get career coaching at the end of their career. They go to the Career Center and learn how to write a resume, and that we offer employers a career fair where they get a lot of traffic, but not necessarily the right people coming by their booths. And it's not really a partnership as much as a not very successful speed dating relationship that comes at the very end. It doesn't really work that well. So we want to turn that upside down at New College, and we are turning that upside down at New College. So 5 points, what are we doing? And again, I'm happy to talk about any of these with you in more detail. The first is we're integrating career education in the academic situation, for not just at the end, but all 4 years. Our students get a career coach assigned to them before they even arrive on campus in their first year. We have a mentorship program that's available. We have an incubator program that is for student entrepreneurs. Our first year seminars talks about career competencies. The faculty work when designing the courses. Students know what career competencies they're going to be developing in this class. And we do that over 4 years. I don't know about you, but my experience in life is if you do something just once, you really don't really learn it very much. And you have to learn those skills over and over and revisit and rebuild. So our idea about connecting academics and career, it's not a one-stop shop. It happens repeatedly, semester after semester. That's number one. Secondly, we're an honors college. We have smart students who work really hard, but we are committed to making sure they're not just classroom smart, that they can apply their knowledge and their skills outside the classroom in real-world problems, which are always messier and more complicated than things in the textbooks. Let's just be honest. They always are. And so our faculty have always been, since our founding, committed to giving students these messy problems to work with. So a couple of examples. Students at New College who are studying urban planning have been involved in Realize Bradenton. Our environmental studies students are studying water quality right here in the Bay. Our marine biology students are doing shark research in Manatee River. And these are just a few examples. We have data science students who are doing real-world work with real-world data sets, messy, confusing, all those things we love, with local foundations here in the Sarasota Manatee Foundation. So this is, again, it's not something that happens just at the end of your college career, year 1, year 2, over and over again. So that's the second thing. Third thing, we're investing in internships. Our goal, and we're not there yet, but our goal is to have 100% of our students have a 4-credit internship before they graduate. We also fund them and work with people who provide, we don't fund all of them, but we work with partners so companies can help fund and we provide funding. So we are investing our time and our resources in internships. And one of the things I'm most proud of about New College is the way that we approach internships. So we don't actually start with a student and then say, we'll call up, can you do an internship? We actually reach out to companies and find out, what are your needs? We start with you. And then we go back and find the students to meet your needs. And that is a very different approach than, here's a student we have to place. So again, we have people here from our Career Center who can talk in more detail about that. Fourth, we're a liberal arts college, top 5 among public, in the nation of public liberal arts colleges in the country. We also have a very unique method of education. I can't talk about that in detail, but it emphasizes student agency, lots of hands-on work. We do narrative evaluations rather than grades because we firmly believe that you get more feedback when you do that and students are able to take risks. So we have a very different model than many places. Students aren't chasing grades, they're trying to learn. And that really does matter at New College. I am continually reminded that what employers want is not someone who will simply do what they're told, but can take a complex problem and then create a solution, present it to you, and implement it, right? So lots of people will do the thing you ask them, but like mostly when I have employees, I'll be like, I don't know what this, like, here's a problem, figure it out. That's what New College students do. Their first semester, second, on and on and on. And my last thing, because of this focus on learning to learn, right? That's really what we do, because we don't know what the students are gonna have to learn in 4 years from now. So it's all this emphasis. But we offer a customized education for our students, but we also offer customized service to our employers, and that's what I want to offer to all of you. So we don't do the same thing with all of our people, those of you who are hiring, whether as interns or we work an individual one-on-one, just like we do with our students. We're a small school, we're able to do this. A small school of finding out what your needs are. I'm going to give you 2 examples and then I'm going to turn it over. One is we're delighted to be working with the Manatee County School District. They have a workforce problem of developing hiring teachers. It's a huge crisis for them. We don't have an education program, but we are working out the details of a program so that we have many students at New College who love learning and want to become educators. And so we're working to develop a customized program for them. It's not the same thing that works for somebody else, but we're developing that. I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Cynthia Saunders, our superintendent, for her partnership in this. And it's one-on-one. You can what do you need? How can we help provide that? And we're doing that with individual employers throughout this region. We're grateful for the partnership, but it's customized for our students and also for you. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting more of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Which is
Right here in the middle.
oh, very good. Thank you very much. I'm Karen Holbrook. I am delighted to be with you today and talk a little bit about the University of South Florida, but I'm going to capitalize on what you said, Pat. One of the things Pat didn't say is she and we are part of the state university system. And they absolutely require all students at the beginning, at freshman level, to get into career practice and career training and career preparedness. So that's just something that everyone does for everyone. And of course, the internships are really important, and we feel the same way. I'm going to say a little bit about what our new president, Rhea Law, has said, and she says our connection with our community is our superpower. And she specifically said that about the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee, and we absolutely believe it. Many of you know that we are now one university. Sarasota, Manatee, St. Petersburg, and Tampa all came together under one accreditation now about 2 years ago. And what does that mean for us? It means a number of things. First of all, for our students, it means that we don't just have 40 programs for them to be involved in, but we have 257 programs that they can now get involved in. And I'll show you a little bit along the way of what they can do. USF, University of South Florida, is America's fastest rising university. It has been for a couple of years, according to U.S. News and World Report. It is also a preeminent state research university that's ranked number 46 among public institutions and 103 among all public and private institutions, and we are among the top 10 in producing patents. And patents are one thing, but licensing patents and starting up startups from those patents are what are really important. The impact of the University of South Florida overall is $6.202 billion economic impact to the Tampa Bay region. So it has a major impact on it. We have a total of a little over 50,000 students that hail from all of the states in the United States, as well as 145 different countries. Our students come in, like the ones that go to New College, with an SAT score that's very high. 1312 is the average SAT for the incoming freshman class, with a grade point average of 4.1. And if you look at our honor students, they're significantly higher than those. We are number 6 among public institutions and number 8 among all institutions in the best universities for reducing inequalities. DEI is a very, very important theme for the university, and we work on it all of the time. The number of students, our campus is small. Like New College, it's bigger than New College, but we served in the fall semester, we take the number of students that we served. And this past fall, we served about 6,000 students. That doesn't mean they're all on our campus. I wish they were, but they're not. But we serve that many of them because a number of the students take courses. They may be living, working in Tampa or in St. Petersburg, but they take their courses on our campus. And our numbers are staying high like that. The University of South Florida offers 90 bachelor's degrees, 105 master's, and you can read the numbers. A number of research doctoral degrees as well as professional degrees, such as pharmacy and medicine and public health and nursing degrees. So a lot of different degrees are offered on the campus. Now, what do we do to prepare our students for the community? And what do we do in terms of research? And what are we focused on when you say, what's distinctive about the University of South Florida? We have 3 clusters that we call our hubs. One is a health hub, and we have several programs. You can't read those, the light green ones, I don't think. But what the health hub encompasses is a lot of programs relating to aging, and I'll show you that subsequently. Business hub, we prepare our students for business careers, and for a lot of the local businesses in particular. And we have early university programs where we serve nearly 1,000 students. Right, Brett? Nearly 1,000 students every year in their junior and senior years of school. Now, what do we do with that? Do we just give them the courses that they're going to take on general ed courses? No, what we're trying to do is build in their careers back in high school so that when they get to college, they already have some sense of what they're going to do. So if they want to be a teacher, they can take some courses that are related to teaching. If they think they want to go into business, we even have a Bloomberg program where the students learn Bloomberg terminals when they're in high school so that when they get to college they can go on. Saves money because they have 2 years behind them, and it saves them taking courses when they're here, and it gets them involved, gets them connected to the community very early. Now, what I'm going to show you is that these hubs or these clusters are not silos. If you're in health, you're not just in health. If you're in business, you're not just in business. But in fact, all of them interconnect in several ways. You can look at student consulting, and this is one of my favorite examples of what we do in the real world. And Dr. Greg Smogard is here, who runs a consulting course where the students work directly with companies, not to do a project, but to actually solve a real problem. So they start out with that problem, and they spend the semester on a consulting basis and present the program at the end to the CEOs of the company. So there are a number of these. If you look at artificial intelligence, crosses all of these. If you look at, you can look at any one of these things. The lines are not particularly dark, but you can look at them and see that they all intersect. And the idea is that if you're in health, you really need to know something about business. If you're in business, what kinds of things you do in business also relate to health. So these are our 3 main hubs, but they really all come together, and you can see cybersecurity is one of the major themes that crosses every single one of them. We're planning a different campus. If you've been to our campus, you've seen our building. I used to talk about behind the trees. And what do you see behind the trees? Because if you're driving down 41, you see a lot of trees and you see a sign that says this is the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee. Behind the trees is our building, but it's going to be more than one building. We are looking to build an inspirational, purpose-driven, dynamic destination where education and career preparation are aligned. How are we going to do it? Our first building that we intend, a new academic building, is a nursing STEM building. This is one to continue to build our nursing program and all of the STEM careers. But again, as I showed you, these are not silos. People working in business are also interested in the arts, and so there are going to be a number of integrated programs within this new building. And our second building, which is probably going to be our first building actually, is a new student center and housing. You all probably know that we are not a residential campus. We are going to be a residential campus, hopefully within 2 years. We plan to have a shovel in the ground for that gray building on the right-hand side to have 200 new beds so that we can recruit students from out of state, in-state, and local. A lot of kids who live locally want to live on a campus and make it a real campus environment, and international students. So that's our new student center and housing, and we plan to have a shovel in the ground sometime this fall to get that one going. So this is really exciting. This is our new campus, and you're going to see a lot more behind the trees than just our one building. So what's this going to do for us? It's going to add teaching and research labs. We don't have laboratories for our lab sciences. We're going to add research facilities for our faculty, provide critical space for new programs, and we're actually talking with the College of Engineering as we sit across from the airport to do an aerospace engineering program and an A&P program. And in that, we're working with the Manatee Technical and Suncoast Technical colleges. So it brings together a lot of other functions in a collaborative way. We are also going to increase the number of our nurses. Right now, our nursing program can't grow because we don't have the space. So we're going to at least double the space for our nursing program. And we're going to transform the campus overall in a new living, learning community. So the University of South Florida, our belief is that our student success is community success. So I'm very excited to present some of this new information to you, and I'm going to pass this along. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Holbrook. Well, good afternoon. My name is Michelle Morgan. I'm the campus president for our Sarasota campus of Kaiser University. And before I can explain what we're doing and what we can do to help you find the employees that you need for today's workforce and the workforce of the future, I think it's important to tell you who we are and what we do so that you will know when it's appropriate to call us and how we can help. So Kaiser University is Florida's largest private not-for-profit university in the state. We opened about 45 years ago in Fort Lauderdale and over 25 years ago here in Sarasota. We have over 21 campuses statewide. We have international campuses in places like Nicaragua and other international sites. And we're regionally accredited by SACS as a Level 6 institution. We offer associate, bachelor, master's, and doctoral degrees. We have over 3,800 employees, 20,000 students, and about 20% of that student body are active duty military and veterans. Our annual economic impact on the state is over $3 billion, and we attribute our growth to our students first philosophy, the way that we organize our delivery model of our education, and also making sure that our students can balance all the priorities of their life, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. A little bit about our student performance. We have over 70,000 alumni statewide, 6,000 of those here in the Manatee, Sarasota market, and 85% of our graduates stay local. So we truly are infusing our graduates into this workforce here in our counties. We have over 91% of our students are placed in jobs, and 85% of them are placed in careers that they came to school for. So a few things that make us unique as I kind of scroll these up, our average student age is about 29. So our students who come to us aren't necessarily directly out of college. Many times they have families, many times they are working, and school is just now one more priority, but it's a necessary priority for them. We understand that in order to juggle all of those things, it's important that we make the education very manageable for them. So one thing that makes us different is our delivery model, if you will. We go to school year-round, so we have students that start every month and graduate every month, 12 times a year. While our students take a full-time schedule during their semester, they're taking only one class at a time. So while they're working, running home to take care of the kids, feed them, and get back to school, they're in one class. It's a very intensive environment. So they go to the same class 3 days a week or 3 nights a week or online, and they're in that same class 4 hours a day for 4 weeks. So the best way I can describe it to those who've not experienced it is it's kind of summer school year-round. It's very intensive, so instead of having to study for English, math, history, and speech all for a test on Friday, they get to study English and English only, and it's very intensive, and we find that the information retention is phenomenal, and their ability to manage and maximize their rate of success is far greater. We also have small class sizes. We offer the major classes first, which is also a little bit different. So I know where I went to school, and many of you, again, we did those English, math, history, and speech all up front before you kind of earned the right to get into what you were really at school for. And our students are older, and they are serious, and they didn't come to us to necessarily be a student. They came to us because they wanted to be employed. And so our goal is, in the way that we've designed this structure, is to get them into the market as quickly as possible, competent to perform as an employee. So for example, if someone comes to us and they say, I'm interested in paralegal, we put them in whatever paralegal course we're offering at the time, whether it's legal research and writing, family law, torts, what have you. They go through all of their paralegal curriculum. They're then available if somebody wants to hire them, which many times in this market people do, while they finish up their degree, taking their speech and English and those sorts of courses. They can either do those day, night, or online, so that they can also be employed at the same time. So this helps the employer and the student get out and start making their wages. We also have a dress code, which is a little bit different. And again, our time with our students is very brief, and they didn't come to be a student, they came to be an employee. So we make sure that they are ready to dress professionally. I can't tell you how many men I've taught them, or young men I've taught how to tie a tie, and I'm like, just slip it off, don't undo it. But they are ready to go to the interview and to be employed, and we also work on the soft skills. We ensure that they understand what professionalism is, they understand how to work in a team, and they understand the value of an employee who shows up, who's reliable, and who is pleasant to work with. A few recognitions, they're probably difficult to read from your seats, but I'll point out just a couple. We are the largest producer of nurses in the state of Florida that passed the NCLEX exam, and I believe number 3 in the country. So we are rapidly, with 21 campuses statewide, trying to meet that need, or at least close the gap. I think we all could max out our programs and we still wouldn't meet the need. But that is one thing that we're very proud of, and we're working very diligently to expand on that as well. The other thing I like to point out is that we've been ranked number 1 in the state of Florida and number 5 in the country for social mobility. And that, to us, is the real report card. That means that we are impacting and enhancing the movement of a student and their family, if you will, from one social class or socioeconomic status to the next by increasing their level of education. About 6 years ago, we got into the world of sports, and we now have over 26 teams with wonderful success. We've had 4 national champions this year, and the one thing I would want to point out here is that we were the recipient of the 2020-2021 IMG Learfield Directors Cup Award, which is given to the NAIA, which is a conference that we're part of, their best overall athletic program, which ranks athletic outcomes, academic outcomes, and character. So we're pretty proud of that. Here in Sarasota, we have our own little sports team. We do not have a football field here in Sarasota, but we do have our esports team. We launched this during the pandemic. It was planned, and right as we kind of all went into lockdown, I'm like, what should I do? I've hired my coach. You know, I don't know if this is really the right time to kind of invest in this type of thing. And I'm driving down 301, and our billboard just went up that says, now esports. So I'm like, all right, well, we're in. So we went ahead and we launched this during the fall of 2020, and we finished that season wonderfully. We had 6 of our 8 teams went to playoffs, and we have competed with some of the best at Auburn. We've competed with UCF, USF. We've competed with Rollins, and we've done very, very well. Fortnite seems to be the one that our folks, out of all the games that they play, seems to be the one that we have the most success in. So in responding specifically to the question today, how are we responding to the needs of the workforce in the gaps? And I believe it's really starting with knowing and understanding who we are and committing to who we are. We can't be everything to everybody. What MTC does, what SCT does, what we do, what New College, what USF, and what SCF does, it's all a little bit different. And we are very fortunate to live in a market with such rich opportunities and rich options, if you will, as it relates to higher education. So now that you know a little bit about who we are, hopefully you'll tap us when you think that there is something that we can help you with. But it's also being a student of the market and understanding what the needs of this particular market are. Kaiser University offers over 120 programs, but here in this market, we only offer about 40, and they're very specific to the needs of this community. We don't offer fashion merchandising and other programs that may not be successful here, but we definitely offer culinary arts, we offer nursing, physical therapy, radiologic technology, IT, cybersecurity, and many others that we'll see in a second. And that is reviewed annually at the very least. We're reviewing it all the time to say, hey, what's coming up? Where is the need? Where is the demand? And actually, we've had some employers ask us for stuff that is very tempting to want to start because it really meets that employer's need, but it really is outside of our scope. And so it's really important that we all have an understanding of who then to refer them to so that that need can be met. We also partner with employers. We have employers, we probably have over 120 employers on various advisory boards that kind of tell us what's going on in the market to keep us current and on trend. But also we try to stay, specifically for us, state of the practice. We don't want to be state of the art because we don't want to put out a graduate who's been trained to work on a system that that small employer doesn't quite have yet. So we want to say, what are you using in the marketplace? Let's teach that, and then we can always upgrade your skills as we go. And this is, and as I said, we make sure that our programs are directly aligned with the market demand. So as you can see, we're heavily weighted in the healthcare and wellness areas currently, and some of the other areas not so much. But if you looked at each one of these areas, you will see a workforce gap in our area of the programs that we offer. So please let us know what your needs are. We're happy to help. And again, I have to echo what my colleagues have said here, that our counterparts have said, is that we do struggle with the same things that you do. So if you know fantastic faculty or someone who wants to get into retirement but has so much to offer, we're always looking for faculty and people who can really give back and invest that knowledge in others. So thank you very much. Dr. Fitch.
Good afternoon, everybody. For those of you that were coming here to hear from Dr. Carol Probesfield, I hope it's clear to you I am not Carol Probesfield. She's fallen ill, was sick last week as well. I had to stand in for her at graduations and commencements, and she sends her regards as well today. I think she probably tried to come back a little too early and wasn't able to make it today, so I'm happy to step in for her. So to talk about our role in workforce development and addressing the workforce needs of the next generation, I think there are so many people in this room who really turn to us quite often as the region's first choice in addressing workforce education, workforce development. We've proven to be flexible and nimble in the ways that we're able to respond to the demands of the workforce in this particular region, whether it's through our close collaborations with my counterparts here. We like to talk about being the through thread of educational opportunity in our service region. Happy to hear Rick talk about MTC, and I'll mention STC as well. We work closely with them and articulate roughly 70% of what they deliver in skills training into educational opportunities into our institution. We prepare students for their next degrees, whether it be with us in our baccalaureate degrees, and I'm happy to announce we have 2 new baccalaureate degrees recently approved in elementary education and exceptional student education, again in response to both Manatee County and Sarasota County's workforce demands in teacher training. We talked to the superintendents and they said elementary education is one of our greatest challenges, so we developed degrees to address that challenge. If there are additional educational opportunities that we don't currently offer, we partner well with New College and USF and Kaiser and others to create articulation agreements so that students can find the right place for them. So it's really important that we prepare students for their current degree or their next degree, whether it be with us before they come to us, coming from our technical colleges, or with our college and university partners in the region. But in addition to that, we have 31 specific workforce associate's degree programs and countless certificates connected to those programs as well. And so we're really committed to being the region's largest and first choice for those kinds of opportunities. And many of you in the room support that activity through service on our advisory boards. Every one of our AS degrees has a business and industry advisory board to ensure that our content is staying current, as Michelle just said, with the practice and the needs of the industry, all right? And what better way to do that than to have you all regularly meeting with the faculty and the individuals responsible for managing the content and the delivery of those programs to ensure we're meeting the needs of the business and industries that those programs are meant to address. Other ways that we do that, like my counterparts here, through growth in internships, mentorships, apprenticeships. We have significant growth in all of those areas, and like others have said earlier, my goal is that every one of our students have an experiential learning opportunity before they walk out of our doors and onto their next opportunity. And so we've been committed for the last several years at growing experiential teaching and learning opportunities, connecting with business and industry, finding those internship opportunities, ensuring that they're shadowing the work that you're doing, and then bringing that content and experiences back to the classroom to help make those next steps on their educational journey more meaningful and preparing them for their careers after they leave our protective confines. Some of you have probably had the chance to come see our recently opened Center for Advanced Technology and Innovation, our 26 West Center. That has been a personal passion project of mine for the last 2.5 years. In that we have our Coding Academy, which was something that our president was deeply committed to. We had this space, it was our old library for those of you that have seen it. And when I joined the college, I'm just about to complete my 4th year now, Dr. Probesfield said, we've got a space, we need to figure out something to do with it, and here are some ideas that have been floated around. So we created a vision for that includes content creation in the ways that both business and industry need that content and the ways in which the students who are consuming that content want to receive that content. I'll give you a couple of examples. This particular center has taken curriculum from our degree and certificate programs, our college credit programs, and sort of deconstructed that content because the research tells you that Gen Z today wants the skills they need to get the jobs they want, and that may not necessarily be a traditional certificate or degree program right now. And so we took our introductory courses in entrepreneurship, in digital content creation, and we've turned those into workshops and seminars so students can go out and piece together a collection of skills that they need to come to work for you, to get the jobs that they want, but all of that content is still articulated back into a degree or certificate when the time is right for them to come back to us to complete that traditional educational journey. And we will continue to do more and more of that because we're committed to meeting the needs of our students who are looking to meet the needs of you as business and industry experts in innovative and unique ways. And so we've proven to be flexible and responsive to those kinds of demands in ways that maybe others aren't able to do. In addition to that, like my university colleagues have stated, the state has now required all institutions, state and community colleges, universities, to integrate employability skills into their curriculum through a badging of sorts. We've taken that one step further, and we're committed through our Guided Pathways program to the integration of NACE employability skills and content into our general education curriculum, meeting the requirements of the state, but yet listening to what business and industry employers have told us in that we do a great job of preparing professionals that are highly skilled. Often they're challenged by having the employability skills to be great employees. I'll give you a great example. Everybody knows we produce the largest and best nurses in the area, right? But our hospital partners often say, but they still, even though they're great nurses from a skills standpoint, may not necessarily know how to integrate themselves into the culture of the healthcare provider that they go to work for, so they need those skills, and we're working to integrate those skills as well. And taking our cues from all of you based on the experiences that you've had, not just with our graduates, but with our interns as well. So we continue to develop that partnership as well. So I think I mentioned earlier our educational content. We now have 31 workforce focused AS degrees. Our newest degree, which will begin taking students in this fall, is in music technology, believe it or not. Again, following that theme of digital content creation, whether it's podcasting or blogging or digital content creation of a visual nature, this will integrate with things we're already doing and fills a gap in areas that we weren't currently servicing. Our sister institution to the north, St. Pete College, has over 200 students in their music technology program right now. So it's an area that we had great expertise on our faculty, we had resources available, and so we've built that content to meet the needs of business and industry. And you can see the statistics. In those programs, 81% of our graduates are employed in their field. 14% of those graduates are either continuing their education with us. Many of our Associate of Science degrees articulate into baccalaureate programs at our own institution or at our partner institutions at the university level. 36 college credit certificates, countless non-credit opportunities, which I know many of you have taken advantage of and some of you teach in. Thank you for your contributions there. And I think the last thing I want to talk about is some of our non-degree opportunities. And again, speaks to our commitment to being responsive to the needs of business and industry. And I'll give you two examples. In the healthcare industry, in partnership with Career Edge and some of our hospital providers, folks came to us and said, we need more CNAs. These are certified nursing assistants. And many know of our reputation in nursing, and so we were a natural partner for some of our community healthcare providers. And we said, well, that's what the technical colleges do. And so we try to make sure we're not duplicating the work of our community partners. We don't want to do what the universities are doing. We don't need to be doing what the technical colleges are doing. We need to sort of bridge that gap between the two. But there was an evening weekend opportunity for folks who still needed to work full-time and weren't able to commit to the day programs that our technical colleges deliver, which were full, by the way. And so we developed, through a partnership with Career Edge, an opportunity to deliver evening, weekend CNA training for folks meeting the needs of business and industry. So the messages were nimble and flexible and responsive to the needs of business and industry, and have the community relationships where every one of those students that participated in that program were funded by Career Edge, so they went to school at no cost. The other example I'll give you is, if you've driven by our Bradenton campus recently that way, you'll see a number of 18-wheelers in the parking lot. People are thinking, what do we do with truck driving? It was brought to our attention through relationships with our chambers and our EDCs that between the two county service region that we're responsible for servicing, there were over 700 unfilled CDL driver opportunities. Those entry-level truck driving opportunities started at between $55,000 and $70,000 a year. And the region wasn't meeting the demand for CDL drivers. This is everybody from your recycling and trash trucks to your delivery vehicles to long-haul truckers who spend weeks on the road, right? And so for anywhere from $2,800 to $7,500 for a training program, depending on the level of license you're looking to get, you can finish that program in a matter of weeks to months and go out and secure a job making somewhere between $55,000 and $70,000 a year. And so when our Dean of Workforce Education and Lifelong Learning, Terry Clark, came to me and said, hey, we've got an opportunity here. I said, but Terry, we don't have any trucks. What are we going to do? Nor do I want to have trucks, right? There's a challenge there. And so through an introduction with our EDC partners, we met Trey Williams, who's the president and CEO of Fleet Force Trucking School. And he had trucks, but needed classrooms, offices, and parking lots. Well, we had classrooms, parking lots, and offices, right? Before, pre-pandemic, we were roughly 70% of our enrollments were face-to-face, 30% were online. Post-pandemic, we're a little more than 50% online, a little less than 50% face-to-face, and I'm sure many of my colleagues see that same affect of the pandemic. So we had available parking lot space. So we engaged in a collaboration with Trey Williams and his company to bring that opportunity to our region. Right? It is not a huge profit generator for our institution, but it is a huge community service that we're providing, not just to area employers like yourselves, but to the students who are looking for meaningful employment. And through, again, relationships with CareerSource, through federal WIOA dollars, we've been able to commit those resources to getting students educated at no cost. We have received $930,000 through a rapid credentialing grant from the governor's office to support the growth of that program. The majority of that is going to paying the tuition of students that are going through that program. And Trey himself has worked with many of the industry partners that we work with to secure commitments from them to support the training of students because they were struggling to attract and retain truck drivers. So one of our industry partners reallocated tens of thousands of dollars that they were using to market and advertise to try to bring in drivers who were not able to retain, and reallocated those dollars to tuition, getting sort of a commitment from those completers to fund their education if they agree to stay employed for at least a year. So we're finding flexible, creative, responsive ways to address the workforce demands of our service region. And I could go on all day, but I'm probably the only thing between you and dessert. So I will close there and just say thank you very much, not just to you all for hearing what we had to share today, and I'm sure we're happy to take questions if there's time for that, but to thank my partners as well for being wonderful community partners in service to not just the businesses and industries represented here, but the needs of our students as well. Thank you very much.
Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news, we had 4 phenomenal presentations. Thank you very much. Bad news is we're running late. All right, so we're going to cut the number of questions down a little bit. We try to get you out by 1 o'clock. It's already 1:08 if you have a hard stop and you need to leave. One question I had, I was just curious. I mean, you are all in a similar industry, and in some ways you could look at it as being competitive. However, at the same time, you are all part of the same ecosystem here in Sarasota, Manatee County. So how much do you actually work together to make sure you're not stepping on each other? And is it something that is actively done? Or I'm just curious how that works, and whoever would like to jump on that.
So I'll take a shot at addressing that initially and pass it off to my colleagues. But I think for those of you that don't know, the higher education system in the state of Florida has been #1 ranked for the last 5 years by U.S. News and World Report. And it's because that system has an intentionality to it that keeps us from competing with each other very directly, right? So the through thread of educational opportunity that I described between technical colleges, state and community colleges, and our university partners is very much that. It is intentional, right? So that we're not all doing the same thing in the same region and then you're just diluting opportunities, right? It's more important that you represent that through thread of educational opportunity and give people jumping off points and let them choose, right? And so I work closely with everybody here at the table and people who are not at this table to ensure that we're delivering for our communities the necessary educational opportunities. And it's better to be done collaboratively than it is in competition, because then you're just expending unnecessary resources.
I'll be very quick. We do work together in not wholly, but as the need arises. One of the other things that we've done in the local area is start the Cross College Alliance, which is 5 universities, and we are State College of Florida, New College, University of South Florida, Ringling College of Art and Design, and FSU Ringling, and the arts. We all work together, and the neat thing about that is when you put it all together, you've got an enormous array of programs. And I'm sorry to leave you out, but this is, the Cross College Alliance is with those that are very local here and are public. Well, Ringling is not, but that 5 group got together, and we really do a number of things together. The provosts all get together, the student affairs people get together, the presidents get together, and we try to do as many things as possible so that our students have more opportunities than simply what's within our own campuses. You want to say anything, Pat? No?
I agree.
We work towards financial stability for the ALICE population, right, the working people of our community. What are you doing to reach out to non-traditional students that maybe they're not necessarily high school graduates looking for what are they going to do with their life, but maybe somebody who's looking to have a more financially stable lifestyle, career, to be able to support our family and contribute to our community?
I'll start. I really do want to echo the collaboration. As somebody new to this region and this ecosystem, it's very collaborative. I will say, so New College is probably the most traditional student age group of our, I would guess, of the institutions represented here. But one opportunity that we are really investing, we see enormous opportunities, again, based on collaboration, is with transfer students. So transfer students, often some with State College, for instance, but also other institutions around the state. transfer students tend to have a greater range. Students who have gotten an AA degree from another institution have a greater age range, for instance, and we're seeing enormous opportunities for us in New College of making sure that those students also have the opportunities for an honors education right here in this region. So I would say our contribution is primarily, there are other things I could talk about, but primarily with transfer students.
Thank you. Thanks for that question, because that is what we do. As I said, our average age at the university is 29, and so we spend all day, every day, trying to reach out to that non-traditional student. And it's the very reason we designed our delivery model and the structure of the university, delivering that education in the way that we did, so that we're mindful of the many priorities of our students, and that we make it as manageable and consumable, if you will, as you can, and getting them in, getting them out, getting them working straight away. So it's a variety of ways. Your traditional marketing methods, your non-traditional marketing methods, going directly to employers and asking, do you have people you want to train up? And many times it's for a different job, not always the next job there at their current employment. So many times it's kind of reskilling, retooling, re-educating.
Yeah, so I'll echo many of those sentiments. You might be surprised to learn we'll serve a little over 10,000 students this year, and our average age is dipping now just below 27 years old. So similarly, we're serving more of a non-traditional age population, even though we've been very successful at bringing in more traditional age students as well. It's been a strategy of ours. But I'm fortunate to have Cassandra Holmes sitting in the audience, and she will correct me if I get this number wrong, but I believe we awarded $1.8 million in scholarships last year, and over 50% of our students are Pell Grant eligible. So we're fully committed to helping realize the social and economic mobility and agility of students, especially in that ALICE population, whether it be through our Reskilling and Upskilling Academy, taking students who are in entry-level positions now and helping them find an affordable path through the next level of credentialing, whether it be fully funding their education through the commitment of our foundation and the fundraising and scholarship opportunities that they provide. Also working with employers to get commitments on employer-funded educational opportunities so that they're realizing the return on that investment for them as well. And I think we've proven to be really successful in that space. So thank you for the question, wherever you went. There you are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to close it down at this point. I wanted to say thank you, and I'm going to invite Tara to come back up here and do the closing remarks. I'm sorry? Okay.
Thank you so much to our speakers. Thank you to Rick, Dr. Fritz, Dr. Morgan, Dr. Holbrook, and Dr. Oker. Thank you so much. I know I learned a lot today working in workforce partnerships at the Chamber. We are so appreciative of having you all as partners. And thank you for giving us your time today. Big thank you to our sponsors, FP&L, the Mosaic Company, and the Realtor Association of Sarasota and Manatee. That is our agenda for today. You all have a great rest of the afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you next month at our headliners. It's always the second Wednesday of every month. Thank you, and have a fabulous day.